Well, hello there. My name is Murdock, the man with no first name, president of the Broken Arrow Horseback Riding Club. I'm your fill-in host today, and today we're going to be discussing some basic fundamentals about issues that we have within the organizations of the Buffalo Soldiers, which is president and founder of Tommy O. Penson, and I believe the business manager, Ms. Julia White from the International Horsemen'S League. And what we would like to do is just basically get familiar with one another and just to share a little bit of information about one another if we can. Tommy, I'd like to start with you. Can you give me just a little bit of background about yourself, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Murdock.
I can't hear you. Just speak up just a little bit louder for me, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Murdock. Pleasure to be here on the show this evening. Fine evening. My background started 1976 as I got into horseback riding. Learned a great deal from mentors and other cowboys that knew horses, enlightened me on how to handle and ride and upkeep of horseback, you know, in the world of the cowboys and cowgirls.
Okay, great, great, great. Julia, can you give me a little bit of information about yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Julia White. I'm business manager for International Horsemen'S League. I'm also the secretary for the Buffalo Soldiers, and I started riding from the Boots and Saddles Ranch down in Kankakee, Illinois, with Irene Sills. I got on my first horse then. I remember Murdock was there, you were there, and a lady named Valerie O'Neill. And I was saying, oh, I'm just too old for this. I've been doing it for 20 years now. They both told me, say, Miss Julia, you're never too old to be a cowgirl, and I'm still doing it and enjoying it.
Well, that's good. I'm happy to hear that you're still doing that and taking an active part in a lot of things that I see that I know that you normally do personally. It's been a pleasure to have worked with you all these years because you certainly have stood out in the forefront and share with a lot of people your ability, your skills and knowledge about what it is that you bring to the table with people. And we just want to salute you personally for all those years of your service to the cowboy industry, okay? We're going to get back to you in just a minute. Tommy, I'd like to just try to come out and just share with us, if you can, some information about what it is that you're trying to do with the Buffalo Soldiers organization, number one, and then number two, how long have you been involved with this group itself?
Oh, sure. Thought about the Buffalo Soldiers mentorship program was led up to this point 25 years ago. Thanks with your mentorship and being aboard with Broken Arrow and you being the president, I thought it would be a good idea not so much to branch away from the cowboys, but to start this non-for-profit mentorship program with the kids.
So what are the, let me just interrupt. So what are the ages of the kids that you're talking about in this program? They're going to be from what to what?
11 to 17.
Oh, okay. Good age, good age.
11 to 17.
Is it just for males only or male and females or what?
I hope to stretch it to the female side of it and have board members knowledgeable enough in the cowboy world or knowing about horses, basically military personnel that will be able to coach and educate the young women, youth side of it.
Okay. All right, but now let's go back to what I was saying. What was your purpose for trying to even establish this with the kids, if you don't mind me asking?
Education-wise, discipline-wise, I think it's a good program to get the kids off the street, out of gangs.
That's a good point.
To have, or to be to them, not so much a father figure, but a mentoring figure. If they should not have a father figure, one parent, whether it be the mother or whether it be the father, I believe kids of magnitude like that need some coaching and some guidance. Maybe the parents don't know all the answers. At least we'll be someplace they can come, learn about horseback riding, learn, drill, and get a sense of responsibilities within themselves.
Well, I must say, all the years that I've known you, you've always tried to actually be a part or take part in the industry where you did things for kids. Even being involved with Broken Arrow years back, you would always have the tendency to want to try to establish yourselves during the Christmas holidays specifically, and to try to do things by taking kids' toys to the hospital. So, you know, I commend you for doing that and trying to keep that active part of the activity of cowboys giving back to one another going, you know. Julia, you said that you work with Tommy O as far as the Buffalo Soldiers. What role and what part do you really play with the Buffalo Soldiers?
I am the secretary for the Chicago branch Buffalo Soldiers, 9th and 10th Cavalry. I portrayed Kathy Williams, William Kathy, which went into the military in 1866, came out in 1868. And at that time, they didn't know that she was female because she was somewhat illiterate. So she told them that her name was William Kathy. At that time, they didn't really give you the physicals that they do now. They just wanted to know she was sound body and could carry a musket and run a long ways. And when she came out, her name was Kathy Williams. So Kathy Williams, William Kathy.
William Kathy was her original name, is that it?
Her real name was Kathy Williams,
Kathy,
but she told them William Kathy.
Well, one thing I like about the fact about this woman that you portray, and so what is it that you do with the Buffalo Soldiers in your current situation with them now as Kathy Williams?
Well, we do parades, and most of the times I'm walking in the parade, and people will wonder, why is she walking? Well,
she was an infantry woman.
Infantry.
Right, okay.
Thank you. A lot of people didn't know that infantry did not ride a horse, which I do own a horse and a pony, and I enjoy being with the cowboys, but the parades are a little bit stressful for me now. I've did few of them. You got to watch the people, you got to watch the children, and then you got to make sure your horse is not nervous, and that's just a little bit much on me right now.
When they're really, really nervous, that's when they really, really poop
in
the parade, right?
That's right.
We don't need that, you know. But it's a wonderful thing, though, that seriously that you take part in that part of history. You know, the researching that I try to do sometimes, it tries to enlighten myself of knowledge about what has taken place back through the years as cowboys are concerned. And, you know, I don't want to get into that aspect of it right now, but I just want to let you know that it does inspire me to see other people who take an interest, more so than just getting on a horse and riding.
Right.
You know, and the reason why I say that is so that when and if someone asks you a question, you have some skills, some knowledge that you'll be able to just spew out to them. You know what I'm saying?
Trained,
so that you don't look like,
yes.
What does she know? She's supposed to be a soldierette.
That's right.
I won't call you a soldier, I just called you a soldierette. How about that?
Okay.
At any rate, I understand right now, though, that Tommy, you just here recently become a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
Yes.
Okay, what do you propose to do with that?
Well, I want to expand and take it further for those out there listening or watching us with the intention of turning the smaller proportion of the mentoring program into a Wild Wild West town.
Okay.
With the help of sponsorships, hopefully they'll come aboard, see that my staff and myself are doing things proper for the organization, being Stagecoach Production, which will be the umbrella for the Northwest Indiana Buffalo Soldier Junior Drill Team. So the legacy is a branch off from Jesse White Tumblers. Okay.
Well, before you go any further, let me just say this to our listening audience. I know from becoming a non-profit organization myself that it's nice to say those words, but it's more important to be able to have the staff behind you to be able to fulfill the pieces of the puzzles, if you want to call it that, okay?
Yes.
Because you can have the picture, but you don't have all the right pieces in place. And so I say that to our listening audience so that if, in fact, that there's somebody out there, and the numbers are going to come on the screen before the program is over, if you have some skills and if you would like to volunteer your services, be it to the Buffalo Soldiers, to the International Horsemen'S League, or even to Broken Arrow myself, we can use your services. We have a limited amount of knowledge, and as we grow, we look for people that are smarter than we are in order to try to accentuate what it is that we all need to have done to put us in that right, proper spacing. When I look at people doing the breast cancer walks and things of that sort, these people raise millions of dollars. There's people that come out and write checks for $5,000, $10,000, just like cookies crumbling, you know, off your plate or what have you. And so what we need is not only those little, you know, Barack Obama donations, the $5 and $10, but we also need those large donations. So if you're out there and if you have some kind of skills that can help us to help ourselves to be able to elevate our organizations, we truly would appreciate that. And I know that Tommy would need that help just as well as myself and Julia. We're trying to keep an industry that's going maybe astray on a straight and narrow path. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. Tommy, what I'd like to find out now, as far as your organization is concerned, you say you're over in the Indiana area. Why in the Indiana area as opposed to Illinois, since most of us see you in Illinois all the time?
Good question.
It is a good question. Come on with it.
All right. I want to start in a neighborhood such as the Hammond, Gary, East Chicago neighborhood. As I get the right staff for folks or the right type of funding, I will be able to branch to the Illinois side eventually.
But do you think it's because it's an area that you can break into much easier than
yes,
say into the Illinois area?
It would be a small area to break into much easier before tackling on more missions.
Okay.
But then it would also be up to the board members that are recruited and that are with the business to see how far they want to expand.
Okay. We also have a friend that should have been on the panel with us, Doc Walls, who's a candidate for governor this year. I think he's the only black candidate that's going to run for governor. And the last time I had a chance to speak with him, I did ask him if he became governor, would he really, really be interested in volunteering to try to assist us? And he gave me his word. So therefore, we're going to ask all the people out there in the audience that when the election comes up, what do they need to do? Pull that level that says Doc Walls, right? So we want to make sure we've got everything in place. All right, Julia, let's go back to the National Horsemen's League. When I initially came on board, getting involved with horses, but I've always liked horses, rode them when I was a kid or what have you, but International Horsemen's League, and there was another organization called the Illinois Pride, and these were the two key components of horse organizations that I'd gotten involved with. And I had really, really admired and looked up to the International Horsemen's League because I thought they really had all of their components together for an organization.
Right.
Can you tell me what happens with the group in a sense, because in reality it's not as locked in with members like it once was, as well as none of the groups right now, but I'm just saying because that was such a key group back at that time.
Yeah. Well, as we get older, I think we get a little tired, you know, and we're not as interested as we once were, so we're trying to regroup now. For the viewers out there that usually look for us on the Thanksgiving Day parade, we were not in it this year. We didn't have enough riders. Some of the horses were slipping, and like I say, most of our group is over 50, so we're getting new members, and we'll be back next year. We want you all to watch us. But meanwhile,
over 50.
Meanwhile, watch Murdock and his group on Bud Billiken Parade. Murdock and I always do, and Tommy O, and quite a few of us do the Hyde Park Parade, 4th of July Parade. We go into International Horsemen's, but we're just the umbrella of different horse clubs.
Let me try to stress one of the reasons that I believe in my heart why we do parades. It's not an exciting function like the rodeos and things of that nature. No. But what it does is it gives back to our local communities, so the children who do not get an opportunity to go out and venture out to see these different elements, they can now see them in real life. Some of even adults have never seen horses up close before. So in doing a parade, it fills our void by a cowboy being seen, number one. He loves to be seen. He loves to wave at the crowd, and the crowd to hee-haw, yee-haw back at them. And we would just really have a whole lot of fun with doing that. I want to take it into an element of Chicago for a minute if I can. Okay. The reason why I say Chicago is because I don't know what the key element for International Horsemen's League or Illinois Pride was during that particular time, but I know that when I started this organization back in 1981, 1989, what it was is that I wanted to bring horseback riding back to the inner city of Chicago. Right. I think that I've filled a great amount of steps with bringing the horseback riding back to a certain degree, but what we're really trying to focus on as an organization right now is to have an actual stable built within the city of Chicago. Right. Unlike yourself, as you said a moment ago, being at the age of 50 and older now, a lot of people get tired and they don't necessarily want to continue to do what they're doing. So what we're lacking is bringing in the youth, and that's where Tommy comes in at and doing what it is that he says he wants to do. And of course, certainly it's what I've been attempting to try to do for the longest, but if we can have this stable built in the city of Chicago, what that will do is expose another area which we would have a niche, because we would only be the only persons that would have a stable in the city that actually did horseback riding. And so then we have the different elements of teaching riding, training horses, and we can teach this to our youth and things of that nature. And then maybe as we bring these youth back into trying to exercise this element of riding horses again, then this will certainly create this other thing. And the one thing I like about it, as you said, Tommy, earlier about taking the troubled kids off the street, You've never seen a horse ride by shooting like you do a drive-by shooting. You know what I'm saying? So that within itself is something that we know and that we've all touched and agreed upon, that horses is a spiritual element to them, and how they affect human beings and how human beings become more relaxed and more comfortable around them. Tommy, with you taking the kids off the street as you feel that you can do, and we've seen Jesse White do it numerous amount of times, do you really feel, with all the traumatic experiences that we're having in the cities right now with the shootings and the killings, that this can really be some part of a savior, if you want to call it that, for this problem?
Yes, yes, sir. I think with the theme that, thanks to Julia White coming up with the name Stagecoach Production, helping me kind of forefront it, the theme setting them straight and making them proud would be something that I think their parents, with the proper guidance of mentorship, cowboys and cowgirls of our magnitude and our age, I think they would look up to us a little bit different than they would with somebody just edging them on or telling them do this and they're not knowing is it right or wrong.
Well, let me take back a moment. See, I know Julia, her involvement with children has been very strong, and especially since if she don't mind me saying that, you know, she's taken and have adopted some children